Thanks. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you guys all came out. I got to achieve something today that you guys would all probably respect me more for now. I've never been to Columbus. I used to live in Ohio. I lived in Cleveland for a couple years when I was in aerospace. But I have never been to Columbus, and I've never seen the Ohio State University. I also heard, and I'm not sure, Josh was telling me a little bit, I'm not sure what the organization is, but there's actually a professional certificate for tailgating here in Columbus. I hear you guys take it to a real art level, so glad to be here. So we're going to talk about innovation, we're going to talk about product development and the life cycle curve. That's specifically what we're going to do here. And then the second session, we're going to talk about business strategy. But we're really going to focus on execution, traits of the chief strategist. I really want to get to things that'll drive you to decisions, actions, and results. My goal is that you pick a couple gold nuggets from each of these sessions. The key, I think, in innovation, or one of the big keys, is to find things that have already been invented and plagiarize them, probably discovered elsewhere, and apply them to your business in your industry. So when I think about important innovation, here are the synonyms that came up. Significant, vital, imperative, central, chief, and so forth. It comes down to three conclusions for me. When I think about what important innovation is, first of all, imperative, central, main, essential, that to me means it's core to my value proposition. That to me says it's either big from an idea standpoint or a concept. This to me means it takes priority. But what would the board of directors say if they knew you were taking projects X, Y, and Z off the plate in order to do this innovation project, whatever it is? Asking tough questions is good, but putting up barriers is bad. Ask the right questions, be considerate, but the big thing in here, be thankful. That was incredible. I had the attention of all these, men and women for 10 minutes. It felt like an hour. It was great. They applauded. Did you hear them applaud when we left? I said, yeah, Dan, I did. I was applauding too. But it was really interesting, the reward that he got out of that and that team got out of that. Just the recognition in front of the executive team for 10 minutes. Two, enabling. So this is the channel. So how am I going to enable, empower? How am I going to get ideas? Because I can't be the ideas guy. It's not going to all come from me. It's not going to all come from you. You got to figure out how to get your organization engaged to do this. But the bigger thing, and what's germane to this bullet, is that he said we're okay with failing. We just have to fail fast, we have to learn something from it, and we can't repeat it. If you can tie innovation and what's happening with innovation into this, worth its weight in gold, and it's going to stick around. It's now not going to be just the flavor of the month. I think now we get into the distinctive realm, and we'll talk about how to allocate resources, but this bucket gets a little bit more important to me. You go up, you see the board, you see your name, you see your number, and off you go. Isn't that awesome versus standing in line? So incremental, distinctive, and breakthrough. My gold nugget for you here is you need all three kinds of these things. Here's my issue. Figure out how to solve it. Here's the parameters. Go. It was amazing, the feedback that we got. There is not one singular metric, so sorry, that's disappointing. There's not one thing that you can do to measure if you're successful in innovation. What I would tell you today is you need to look at a basket of metrics. So now think of your capital plan, think of your budgets, think of your significant dollars that are going out. I want to spend 60 to 75% of that advancing my core value proposition. So the question is, if you didn't hear, does maturity come into this of your company, and would you change the percentages based on, if you're a very mature company? Answer, absolutely yes. I want to try and bypass that. I want to take those products that are sitting at maturity and I want to reinvent them and get them to go on the next growth cycle. Tie it into existing processes. It'll give it staying power. So as you look at this, I always like to ask for gold nuggets. And so when we get to the end and we have our roundtable discussion, I'm going to ask you, what were your gold nuggets that you got from this? Because you guys are investing a day of your time. You're away from the office. You're thinking about what's mounting up, but you're sharpening the saw, which is awesome. You're getting the CPE requirement too, which is good. But what are you going to take back? What are you going to take back Monday? What are you going to implement? Just one or two gold nuggets.